All right, everyone. All right, everyone. Everyone, we are going to find points on the line. So you can find the video on classroom.google.com. Obviously, I don't know why I'm saying that, because if you are on this video, that means you have found the video. Anyways, you're going to follow along and you need a calculator, okay? So in these problems, we are given equations, right? So we're given equations in y equals mx plus b format. And we have to figure out if the points they gave us are on this line. So there's two ways to do this. There's the long way, which is by hand. And then there's a short way, which is with a calculator. But you have to know how to use the calculator to make it easy. All right, so I'm going to show y'all both ways. And we're going to do number one both ways, okay? So number one says, which points lie on the graph of the equation? Y equals negative 2 plus 1/2 x. So I have all these points. I need to figure out which points lie on this graph, on this equation, right? On this line, because this equation creates a line. So if I were to do it the long way, by hand, let me show you how I would do it. So I'm doing this on a separate sheet of paper, okay? So my equation is y equals negative 2 plus 1/2 x. And on your test, you will have a question that has a fraction. So it's important that we know how to do this. And it's important that we know how to use our calculator as well, because it makes it easy. So my first point is A, right? My first point is A. It's negative 3, 6. I'll label it x and y. So I'm going to plug my x point where x is and my y point where y is. So y for A is 6, right? So I'll write 6 equals negative 2 plus 1/2, and x is negative 3. I'm going to put that in parentheses because it's reminding me to multiply. So this means x, and x is negative 3. So 1/2 times negative 3. All right, so 6 equals negative 2 plus 1/2 x is negative 3 over 2. All right, 1/2 times negative 3, I meant, is negative 3 over 2, right? Because you would have to put that over 1 and multiply straight across. So negative 2 plus negative 3 over 2. In my calculator, I know negative 3 over 2 is the same thing as negative 1.5. So 6 equals negative 2 plus negative 1.5 is negative 3.5. The 6 equal negative 3.5? Sorry. Does 6 equal negative 3.5? The answer is no. So that point, negative 3, 6, is not on the line because it does not create a true statement at the end. 6 will never equal negative 3.5, so it's not on the line. Okay? And I would have to do that with B, C, D, and E. I'm going to do C with y'all just because I want you to see what a true statement would look like. So let's look at C. So my equation, as we said, is y equals, can y'all see that? Yeah. Y equals negative 2 plus 1/2 x, right? My C point is 0, negative 2. Okay, so I'm going to label x and y. And I'm going to plug in y as negative 2, x, which is 0, as 0 in here. So instead of y, I'll write negative 2 because that's my y point. Equals negative 2 plus 1/2. My x is 0. So I'll plug in 0 for x. And I put it in parentheses. Side by side means multiply. Negative 2 equals negative 2 plus 0. So that means negative 2 equals negative 2. Notice that on my y side, I don't have to do anything because I don't have any operations. I'm using PEMDAS, right? So parentheses first. Parentheses first is what I'm doing. Negative 2 does equal negative 2, so it is on my line, right? And you can do the same thing with B, D, and E. All right? So this is how we're going to do it on a calculator. So you have a calculator. It looks like this. All right, so I'm going to put that to the side. You have a calculator. It looks like this. All right. Should I zoom out a little bit? So what I'm going to do is I'm looking at number one. Number one says Which points lie on the graph of the equation y equals negative 2 plus 1/2 x? So I can use my calculator to help me with this. So first thing I'm going to do is turn my calculator on. The on button. This is what I clicked. Okay. Now I'm going to put my equation y equals negative 2 plus 1/2 x into the calculator. To do that, I click my y equals button. Alright? If there is something already in there for you, clear it out. Click this button to clear it out. Alright? Now we're going to write this equation. So my equation is negative 2. So this button right here is negative. You don't use their minus sign, use negative. So negative, y'all see? Let me zoom out. Negative 2. So I use this button, negative 2 plus, in that 1/2 x, I'm going to put it in parentheses. So my calculator knows that it's 1/2. So I'll put 1, click the B over C button. 2, because B over C, that's a fraction, right? Close it out. X. This button right here is my X button. Got it? All right. So now I have my equation in. That's it. I don't have to do anything right now on this. This I'm completed with. Now I'm going to set my table so that I can choose what my X point is, what my Y point is. So I click second, window, because above window is table set, so I'm setting my table. So I clicked the second button and I clicked window. You should get to a screen that looks like this. All right. So table start is 0. That's good. We can move down. This is a change in table. We want our table to go by ones. That's fine. So this is where we go over here. For independent, you want to make sure that ask is highlighted and click enter. On dependent, you want it to be auto. So independent is X. We're going to input our X to see what our Y is. All right. So once you've done that, you're good. Go ahead, pause, rewind, do whatever you got to do. So now we're going to go to my table. Second and graph. So above that is table. So this second sign is yellow. So that means if I click second, anything in yellow is what's going to come up. Table. So now I'm at a table that looks like this. You might have things in it. Don't worry about it. So now I'm going to use my points to see if I get it. So for A, my X point is negative 3, right? And it's saying if X is negative 3, I should get Y as 6. So let me put negative 3. So I typed in negative 3, and as you can see, it types in on the bottom. When I click enter, it'll change this first number. You see it went to negative 3? Cool. So when I get negative 3, when I put negative 3 into my equation, I get out negative 3.5. But this says I get out 6. This says I get out 6, which is false, so it's not on the line. B says my X is negative 2, so let's put negative 2 into our calculator. Negative 2, enter. Oh, I should get out negative 3. Do I get out negative 3 here? Nope, I get out 0. So that is not on my line. Let's look at C. C, my X point is 0. If I put 0 in and click enter, I get out negative 2. When X is 0, Y is negative 2. Is that true here? Yep, 0, negative 2, I'm good. And I can do the same thing with all the rest of the numbers. All right? So go ahead, try 2, 3, 4, and 5 and see if any of the rest of the D or E is on the line. All right?